All right, everyone, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Market Wrap-Up with myself, Michael Nauss, CMT over at Stats Edge Trading. We're going to go over stocks, we're going to go over Forex, we're going to go over crypto. If you missed yesterday's video, make sure you go back and watch that. Make sure you're signing up for the email list at statsedgetrading.com so you don't miss a video. But yesterday, we went over all the monthly charts. So it was 10 minutes of just monthly charts. Great way to kind of zoom out and take a look at whatever is happening. But I don't think that's replacement for the weekly charts, which we do on Fridays. And then on Thursday or on Wednesdays, we do some kind of intraday mid-week action. So again, if you're interested in all that, got some ideas for the new year that I've got coming out as well with some more educational content, some more live trading content. So again, make sure wherever you're seeing this, you follow that and you go to statsedgetrading.com and sign up for the email list. But without further ado, let's just get into it. We're here on the weekly charts and let's take a look at Bitcoin. So continued strength, right? Talked about this in the monthly review. Nice breakout of this little doji we had last week. Continues to break through these zones like they don't even exist. However, Ethereum just banging its head. Now, full disclosure, I bought a little bit of Ethereum today on a shorter term kind of move. You guys know how I love when prior support becomes resistance and vice versa. Basically what I did is I took this area right here, we broke out, we came back, I bought a little bit right there. I'll probably risk to somewhere under this zone. Just trying to anticipate this breakout, because if we are in a bull market for crypto, you would imagine a break of this VWAP right here could cause a nice little spike. So that's what I'm hoping for. You know, I'm not gonna hang my hat on that, but I bought a little bit and I've got some orders to buy a little bit more if we end up breaking through. Now I want to take a look at the Dixie. So it's the dollar index, which is a US dollar basket against an entire group of stocks. Continuing downtrend, but a little bit of a bottoming tail here on the week. Could be that we are a little bit overdone and we're going to have a little bit of a bounce. It'll be interesting to see this zone that I've highlighted right here was an interesting resistance back here when we broke through it. Do we just bounce up and retest that and sell off? Do maybe we bounce up to test this green candle right here and then move lower? Who knows? Maybe we just reverse and go higher. I have no idea. But these are the areas that I'm going to watch on any sort of bounce coming into next week. Now, this is going to kind of always look inverse to this, but we have a little bit of a bearish engulfing candle on the euro where we opened up, we ran pretty high, and then we sold off. Again, could be a little bit of a pullback. Interesting to see if we kind of retest this anchored VWAP from this low right here. Do we also pull into that range? They'll probably both line up right there. So that's the area I'll be watching on that. Now we also have the yen, so dollar yen, pulling back, and actually pulling back, if we go into the shorter term chart, really strong today and a little bit all day, which is interesting because it means the yen is rallying, because we just said, hey, the dollar index is rallying a bit, which, you know, dollar JPY, you would expect this to rally as well. So we are seeing finally some strength in the yen. So I'm going to be watching this zone right here going into next week. If we break that, come back and retest it, that will be what I'm looking for the yen to continue to be bearish here. And then gold is just a rocket ship, just continues to break out. We have almost, not quite, almost closed above this high right here, which is our current all-time high. So if we go back to a monthly chart and we zoom way back, you can see we've never been up here before. So we're getting very, very close to an all-time high on gold. Anyone who's followed me for any length of time knows all year I've been bulled up on gold and looking for opportunities to get long. So hopefully this will start to pay off for me into the end of the year. Now, going into the equity markets, it's not going to be a whole lot to talk about, and that's just because everything is on fire. This channel that I have right here drawn was from this low right here to this high back here as well. And we're inside that channel. So if we end up breaking out of that range and pushing higher, that's going to be obviously very bullish. If we go to the weekly chart, that's what we're focused on today. 5 weeks up in a row. Again, you know, things can get oversold and stay overbought for a long period of time. but that's a lot. 5 weeks up in a row into this resistance zone. I wouldn't be shocked to see a breakout and then maybe some sort of pullback after that. Could just fire right through, right? You don't have to pull back. Oversold or overbought doesn't mean you have to pull back. But 5 weeks up in a row, again, it gets a little bit worrisome when you're up that much. You just want to see some sort of rest. Now, going down the cap scale, because all of the sectors are pretty much up, so there's really nothing to talk about there. But it's interesting to see MDY starting to catch up, which is our mid caps, getting near this $500 level. We also have IWM, which are small caps, catching up, but still you can see the mega cap outperformance, the mid cap doing okay, and then the small cap, again, still moving higher, but just not nearly what the other ones are doing. So it's still paying to look at these bigger kind of large cap companies. Small caps, maybe for catch-up play. But it's important to note, let's stop and go full screen here for a second. It's important to note the small cap index is always going to suck in some way, because what's happening is as soon as you become a really good company, which is no longer a small cap, they kick you out of the index. They bring someone else in. So just by the fact that it's going to be the smaller companies, it's always going to underperform in the long run the larger companies, you would imagine, right? It makes sense. If it's a bigger company, you would end up doing better. You know, your Apple is the entire size of the small cap index, and I think Microsoft is as well. So very interesting to just, again, keep in mind, it doesn't have to catch up. So I don't have a whole lot in the way of new trades to add this week, but we do have some, so stay tuned for those. I'm just a little bit of bragging. I never do this, but you can just see how, because I'm not adding much, I'm really hunting and picking, because we're in that market where I don't have enough capital to go around, right? So it has to be, I have to pick my shots, because I'm already very long and very happy that I've been long since that October bottom, which we nailed it. You can go back to the channel and watch that, just because of that anchored VWAP pullback. And then everything else seems to be working. So we talked about ASAN last week, pulling back to this area right here. That did fantastic. We talked about Sentinel 1 over this $18 area. I got some of that, rocketed through that nearly at 20. We talked about Dash, just picking a few at random here, holding that resistance. That had a nice break today. I'm hoping that continues on to next week. We talked about ELF, right through this zone right here, came through it, that thing popped up. So I have some to add, but it's not a whole lot, and it's because I have to be really picky about what names I'm looking at, because I just don't have enough capital to apply. I trade more concentrated portfolios. I don't want to add 1% of my portfolio for every single stock. I want to own, 10 really, really strong stocks. When I sell some of those, when I pair off some of those positions, that frees up a little bit of capital, and that's kind of what's happening now, where a lot of these trades that I have, like that Sentinel 1, I took some profits on that today because I'm up over like 20% in 3 days. So I'm going to take some of that, and then these small amounts of capitals of things I'm taking off, I'm going to apply to other things. So ramp is an interesting one, where we're basically dealing with this prior breakout right here in ramp. So we're testing that again. If this can pop off that zone, that's great. That's what I'm looking for that name. And then SMPL, same type of thing, right? This zone way back here, we finally broke over this particular zone back in this area. You can see broke it, came back, tested it, put in some bottoming tails here, bounced, came back, put in a bottoming tail, and a nice strong reversal green candle here as well. That's a nice look on that one. We have Road. Road is a nice pullback to this breakout around 40.50 or so. You can see the breakout that happened here. I didn't set an alert for that reason, for some reason on that one. Let's fix that now. But in this zone right here, you can see we broke out. Now we pulled back and tested that area. Couple bottoming tails, and that's what I'm watching. 1, 2, 3 bottoming tails. If we can get moving on this one, I really like the look of that name. Upwork, UPWK. So Upwork, nice consolidation after this massive gap higher. Very, very tight. A lot of bottoming tails under this downtrend line are getting rejected here. If we draw an anchored VWAP from before the zone, you can see it bled through that a little bit today, rallied high. This is one that I'm really watching going into Monday. Last but not least, we have CZR, or Caesars Entertainment. It's just a strong resistance area here at 47-ish a share. So if we can get through that 47 a share, that's where I'm going to get involved. So thank you all for coming by. Thank you for going to stats@trading.com. Sign up for the email list. I love all of the likes and the comments and the retweets, all of the algorithms in the respective places you're watching this. Really love that as well. Again, thank you all for coming by. I will talk to you next week, and get away from the screens.